Hey, what's up guys, and I want to officially welcome you all back to Anime King 2. Yes, everything is okay now, I can post as normal and everything guys. So I'm going to be starting you off with part 8 of What If Naruto Had a New Dream That Changed Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs over on other channels, and I do hope that you guys enjoy. Remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. And thank you for all of your help and support. Link will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, a bit of recap from the last part we left off. As Naruto had just finished the final rounds, facing off against Neji, as it was shown that Naruto was taking it easy. He had what he needed already to beat Neji, but he was just working on something. The plan went through for the Hina Stone and the Sand, as Shikaku was broken free to rampage on the village, but lucky enough Naruto was there, as Naruto summoned two giant toads as they battled with Shikaku. He was able to knock Gaara out of his transformation. After Gaara was knocked down, Naruto started work on a full jutsu seal, using his blood as he combined it with Gaara pre-existing seal to fix the problem that was going on with it at the moment to help Gaara. Temari and Kankuro were shocked when they saw that, as Naruto allowed them to go. Even Gaara thanked him for what he did for him, as his mind was no longer clouded with the words of Shikaku. So with that, we wrapped up the end part of the attack. After that was over, as the group went to find Naruto, the rookies, seeing that they heard many things, and now they want to find Naruto as well, knowing that he was a Kyuubi Jinchuriki. He was then phoned by Jiraiya, as they need to find a new Hokage, seeing that Sarutobi had been defeated and killed by Orochimaru. Tenten begged them to come, seeing that they were going to Tsunade, and Tsunade was our idol. So with that on the way, they made their way. Itachi and Kisame tried to lure Jiraiya away by using a girl, but it seems that Naruto also fell for it, as he went after a girl as well, ruining their plans, so they never got to attack Naruto. The group ended up finding Tsunade, however, as Tsunade was being a bit too angry and pissed off for Naruto's face, so he tied her up in a rather humiliating form. Yes, he tied her up and wrapped her up with his chains, locking her tight. As she was pissed, she was red, furious, as he went back to the hotel. Naruto spoke to her though, as they were able to come to some sort of agreement to make her think over it, but it wasn't like she accepted to become Hokage, as he even spoke about Shizune as well. The girl was putting aside her dreams to just follow her around. As Naruto released her from the chain, Tsunade ended up smashing her fist right into him. Payback for tying her up, as she ended up leaving, but at least he was making headway. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part left off. You guys can switch across the place and check out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. The following week went by rather quickly, as Jiraiya didn't know when Naruto and Tsunade became friends. The two of them hit the bars and drink together, seeing that they came to a common ground after that talk, leaving people baffled how much both of them can drink. And they went gambling as well. As Naruto had the luck of the devil himself, it was incredibly hard for him to lose, and Tsunade loved that, which led to the two of them cleaning everything out and buying a lot of liquor and laughing stupidly because of it, because they were drunk as hell. Tsunade was enjoying the feeling of being a winner, even though it was Naruto that was winning, and she was playing along as well, as Shizune was happy to see Tsunade laugh, genuine laughter. Jiraiya had no idea how Naruto had done it, but somehow he has made friends with the woman that he wrapped up in his chains and brought to his room like she was a spoil of war. The fact that it was also Tsunade, a known hater of pervert, It made it very hard to believe, as Jiraiya realized that he was in the presence of a master. Yes, Naruto was truly indeed a master. Tenten had been sulking about her idol, as she wasn't what she expected at all. Jiraiya decided to speak to the girl. Flashback. I don't understand. How can Tsunade-sama act like that? She's practically a living legend, but she acts more like a gambling drunk more than anything else. Everyone has their own way of dealing with things. Tsunade likes to drink and gamble. I like to go to the hot springs. Kakashi likes to read porn in public. Guy love to shout about youth, and there are 1,000 others, said Jiraiya. But why is that even necessary? Can't they just be normal? Why do they have to develop some bad habit? You know who never developed a way to blow off steam? Asked Jiraiya. Who? Tenten asked. Orochimaru. He was always so serious and controlled. Now he goes around, trying to steal people's bodies, trying to become immortal. Oh, said Tenten. Well, it seems that people need to have a little funny quirk about them. End the flashback. Tenten had been more understanding after that talk, but she hadn't been able to talk to Tsunade yet, as she didn't want to act like a stupid fangirl and annoy her. She spent her time talking to Shizune instead, as the younger medic had many things to ask about Konoha. For Tsunade herself, she has been having a lot of fun in the past week. Once she stopped being so angry at her fellow blonde for the way he beat her in that fight, she realized he was good company. He never stared at her chest when they talked, but he didn't find her unattractive either. And for gambling, he was wonderful at it. And drinking. They won so much money, she could pay off all of her debts. And he told her that she could keep it, he could always get more if he needed. But now Orochimaru's deadline was approaching. She found herself unwilling to help him. Naruto was right when he said that it was better to carry Dan and Nawaki dream in her heart instead of being angry or depressed that they died while chasing the position of Hokage. He was also right, she would join him soon enough, and she didn't want to be a washed out drunk when she did. She was still gonna keep up the illusion of being young though. Getting old might not be a problem for her anymore. But of course she loved her looks, so she wouldn't drop that illusion. But she wasn't going to involve anyone else in her little problem with Orochimaru. She has gotten into a situation by herself and she would deal with it herself. She was going to refuse his offer and kill him while doing it. Now that the shock of hearing that he could bring them back to life had worn off, she knew that he was up to something. He hadn't been trustworthy for decades and she knew that he would double-cross her if she agreed to his terms. Time skip. Tsunade tried to slip a drug inside of Naruto and Jiraiya's drink, so that she could deal with Orochimaru herself. But it didn't take long for them to find her. You're such an idiot, Tsunade. Trying to handle this by yourself, said Naruto, as the drug had knocked him out and messed with his chakra. But thanks to his ridiculous healing factor, it was able to cleanse his body rather quickly. Jiraiya wasn't so fortunate though, as his chakra was all messed up. Tsunade scolded at him as she was irritated her plan failed. I'll take care of Orochimaru. You three help Tsunade take on the guy with the glasses, said Jiraiya. Seeing the tide turn against him, Kabuto cut his hand, splashing some blood on Tsunade before leaping back. Naruto blinked. What's wrong with her? He asked, as he glanced towards Kabuto. The last time he saw Kabuto, he looked like a weakling, but he was clearly giving Tsunade some trouble, so he was hiding his true skills. She has hemophobia, fear of blood, said Shizune, as she stepped in front of Tsunade. You got to be kidding me, said Naruto. Jiraiya flipped through hand sign. With Kabuto's help, Orochimaru started the summoning process. Orochimaru and Kabuto produced two massive scale snakes while Jiraiya summoned Gamakichi. Yo! Jiraiya felt a pair of eyes bore in the back of his head as he turned, as Naruto was giving him a very deadpan look. Which one are you trying to summon her to ask? Gamahiro, Jiraiya said, the awkward grin. Naruto flipped through hand sign. Summoning Jutsu! The giant toad appeared with two swords crisscrossing his back, with Naruto and Jiraiya on top of him. He has progressed quickly, Orochimaru thought. To be able to summon at this level already, perhaps I should have killed him inside the Forest of Death, despite Akatsuki wanting him alive. He's growing too fast. Thanks, Brat. No. Go help Shizune and Tenten against the other guys, said Jiraiya. If summoning Gamakichi is the best thing you can do, then you're in no position to fight that guy, said Naruto. Jiraiya grit his teeth in irritation, but he admitted his godson was right. Fine, but keep an eye on them in case they need help. With nothing more to say, the two snakes attack. The one carrying Orochimaru heading for Gamahiro, and the one carrying Kabuto heading for Tsunade. Gamahiro pulled his blade and swing, but the snake dived under the attack. It tried to wrap around Gamahiro, but Gamahiro slammed down his blades, forcing the snake to turn another way. Naruto glanced as he saw Tenten and Shizune keeping Kabuto away with a barrage of weapons, but they were clearly outmatched by his skill, as Naruto could see that they wouldn't be able to hold him off for too long. But the fact that Tenten got rid of a snake with explosive notes were surprising. It just went to prove that more problems could be solved with more explosions, which gave him an idea. Jumping off Kamehiro, Naruto rushed forward towards the snake as he started to touch the snake every few seconds as he moved around it. Orochimaru looked down curiously. He commanded the snake to slap Naruto with his tail. Naruto was sent sailing as he crashed to the ground. Picking himself up, he smirked as he flared his chakra, activating the seals that he placed on the snake's body. A series of explosions went off, crippling the snake. Kamehiro wasted no time as he moved forward. Naruto quickly turned as they could handle that now. As Shizune was down, she was unconscious. As Kabuto was now going for a nervous looking Tenten, Kabuto noticed Naruto as he quickly leaped away. Twin Rising Dragons, Tenten said as she opened two scrolls. Kabuto had to go underground as she littered the place with kunais, shurikens, all sorts of weapons. Naruto, he will try to cut your tendons in your foot, said Tenten, as that was the same way Shizune was taken out. Chains burst from Naruto and rushed into the earth. Within a few seconds, Naruto felt his chains hit something else on earth and continued. He ripped the chains out of the ground, tearing apart the earth as Kabuto was impaled in the leg and the gut. Naruto wasted no time as he created a Rasengan and pulled Kabuto towards him. Kabuto's eyes widened in fear as he saw himself being brought towards the deadly technique. He didn't know that Naruto was capable of sending his chains through the ground, and he was impaled all the way through. He could not free himself. Unless some kind of outside interference saved him, he was going to die. Unfortunately for him though, Orochimaru was busy. Rasengan sent Naruto as he slammed it into Kabuto's chest. It ripped right through it, tearing through his heart. Blood exploded from Kabuto's mouth, ears and his nose. His body was sent sailing and crashed into a large stone. Not even his healing technique could help him right there, as his heart was destroyed. He fell down, dead. Between the Sanins, the battle was a stalemate. Orochimaru had dispelled Kamehiro by slicing the toad up with his Kusanagi blade. But Jiraiya had regained enough of his chakra control right there, and he kept him at bay. Orochimaru glanced over as his eyes widened when he saw Kabuto. He never expected that when he left the Kyuubi Jinchuriki in the forest, that he would become strong enough to kill someone like Kabuto. I have to kill him now. I can't allow him to become any more stronger, or he will be a serious problem for me later on. With this thought in mind, snakes exploded from his sleeves and rushed towards Jiraiya. He then shot past him, making his way towards Naruto. Naruto, look out! Jiraiya cried out, as Orochimaru was moving intensely fast, pushing his full speed of a Sannin to the limit. Naruto spin. He only had enough time to twist his body, as a sword burst into his chest. No! Tsunade shouted, snapping out of the state that she was in, when she saw Naruto impaled. Orochimaru, mouth twisted in a smile. The boy had turned just in time so he did not hit his heart. But it didn't matter, the poison would definitely kill him. Before he could pull the blade out and retreat though, Naruto's hand shot up and grabbed the blade. Holding on to it tight, his head was still lowered so Orochimaru could not see his eyes or his face. As Naruto slowly lifted his head up, blood leaking from his mouth. As he smiled towards Orochimaru, he wouldn't let him go. Tsunade had enough. In a second, Orochimaru saw it, but it was too late. Tsunade's fist crushed into his face with such vigor, his body was sent sailing. As Naruto had still hold on to the blade, so Orochimaru did not get it back. Orochimaru was sent rolling. He quickly picked himself up though, as he looked at the situation. Against both of his old teammates and without his arms, he couldn't possibly win. It infuriated him that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki had taken away his blade. That blade he spent so much years searching for. It was taken away by a mere teenager. The worst thing was he didn't even know if the brat was going to die, not with Tsunade there, and the healing factor he already shown. Left with no choice, Orochimaru retreated. To try and get his arm healed, he lost a powerful subordinate, and he also lost his blade. He was not pleased at all, but he left. Naruto pulled his sword out of his chest as he started to fall, but he was caught by Tsunade, who tied him down gently, as he felt the powerful poison coursing through his system. His healing factor didn't work that well against poison as it did against regular injury, but with Tsunade there as her hands started to glow green, slowly but surely her healing was a great help as he felt the wound start to close up as the poison was purged. You idiot! Getting yourself impaled on a sword like that, Tsunade said. Her voice was filled with relief as she was leaning over him. Tsunade, your boobs are making it hard to breathe. Naruto mumbled in her breast. Tenten and Shizune facepalm as Jiraiya didn't giggle because he feared Tsunade would be pissed off at him for that. Tsunade herself smacked him on the forehead but didn't do anything else. He was just poisoned and stabbed. Getting impaled aside, I've got a new sword, and we seem to got a new Hokage. I like her better than the third already. As he waved the sword that was still stained with his blood, everyone looked towards Tsunade with a clear question on their faces. Yes, I'll take the position of fifth Hokage, she said. And with that everyone smiled. Since I like you, I'll even tell you the secret way to avoid doing paperwork, Tsunade. Naruto said with a grin. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. And what secret is that, she asked. I'll tell you when we get back to Konoha, he said. Time skip. A couple days passed since Tsunade took over the position as fifth Hokage. At the moment, Naruto was shaving. His facial hair was blonde. It looked quite ridiculous. But at least he didn't have any growing on his chest. Well, at least he didn't get his father's facial look. Don't get him wrong, his father was a badass. But his looks made him look like a sissy. As Naruto was sure that he got the manly appearance from the Uzumaki side of the family. Naruto, what is this? That question snapped Naruto out of his thoughts. He walked inside the living room to see Zana looking at the blade that he stole from Orochimaru. That's the sword I stole from Orochimaru in my last mission. I think it's called the Kusanagi, said Naruto. It is, she said, with interest. You seem to be familiar with it, said Naruto. I should be, considering that it was my father, she said, hesitating a bit, who created it. The Sage of Six Paths, Naruto said. Yes, see the Megatama mark in the hilt. As Naruto saw the marking sitting right below the blade, he often used the Megatama marking to mark his own creations. He was slightly obsessive about it though. She chuckled lightly. I remember that he had a Megatama necklace and 9 Megatama marking on the back of his clothing. That does sound a bit excessive, said Naruto. I'm surprised that you managed to stumble on his sword, said Zana, as she picked up and swung it through the air. You can keep it if you want, said Naruto. She looked at him a bit surprised. It's yours anyway, seeing that it belonged to your father, said Naruto. She looked conflicted. Thank you, Naruto, she said. But I'm afraid I can't make proper use of it. She was never really expecting to just give her the sword like that. As far as she was concerned, it was his, by his right of conquest. What do you mean, Naruto asked curiously. The Kusanagi was created for combat against demons. It will only respond to human chakra. I think that you should keep it. I'm sure that the blade will serve you well. Thank you, said Naruto. As he stopped. Wait, you said respond to human chakra? Oh, yes. It was made that special technique, the creation of all things. Anything created with that technique is highly chakra-tuned. It was after all the technique that was used to create Usubijus from the Shinjo chakra. Sweet, said Naruto. So, what can it do? Try flowing your chakra into it, and willing your chakra to extend further than the actual blade. As Naruto held on to it and did as she instructed. As the chakra flowed to the tip of the blade, Naruto tried to extend it, but it was a bit difficult. As soon as he managed it though, the blade shot forward and stabbed into the wall. Whoa, that's amazing, said Naruto. As he looked over the wall. Well, I'm gonna have to do something about that. It has some other abilities, but you shouldn't practice them indoor, she said. Time skip. Hyuga Neji, Uzumaki Naruto, Orochimaru. The newly instated 5th Hokage spoke to her 3 genins. You 3 are the only Konoha genins that fought in the finals of Chunin exams, so you 3 are the only one eligible for promotion this time. The 3 of them said nothing, as one of them were just lazily slugging there, the other one standing firm, while the last one was staring at Tsunade's forehead. As Tsunade tried her best to not scrutinize Naruto as he was staring at her forehead. Hyuga Neji, Tsunade said. Despite showing impressive combat ability, you were deemed to lack the proper mentality to be a Chunin. Neji simply nodded. It was what he expected after all. He didn't make a good impression the way he insulted Naruto in their fight, or the way he spoke about fate the entire time. Uzumaki Naruto, she said as she turned towards the tall blonde. You show great combat and analytical ability, the way you defeat your opponent, not to mention your achievement in single-handedly preventing the Ichibai from reaching the walls. However, it was also reported that you abandoned the field and acted on your own. You did not seek out any jonins for others. You, apparently, went to go and get 2 ramen chefs to safety. Also, it is reported that you engaged in sexual activities with an unknown female immediately after defeating the Ichibai. Tsunade, voice was getting higher the more she read the report, as she looked at Naruto like he was a strange being standing there. Neji and Shikamaru was also staring at him like he was insane. In my defense, the invasion was over by then. And did you know that, she asked? No. Naruto said though shame. As far as he was concerned, he did the right thing. I didn't think so. Normally, offenses like that will carry a severe penalty. But considering That you did save the village from a giant sand demon. I will be letting it slide. Naruto nodded as he was actually pleased about not getting promoted. It meant less annoying missions. Now, Shikamaru Nara, you show highly impressive strategic and tactical ability in the way you defeat your opponent, and also great foresight in giving up due to lack of chakra. For this reason, I am promoting you to Chunin. Shikamaru groaned in disappointment. This was exactly what he was hoping would not happen when he forfeited. Maybe he should have made a more lame excuse. Thank you, Hokage-sama, he said without enthusiasm. Promotion too troublesome for you, Shikamaru? Naruto asked, a grin on his face. You have no idea. I'm actually impressed and envious of you. You somehow committed dereliction of duty, but did good enough so you can get away with it, and also did not get promoted. Naruto simply shrugged. Tsunade's eyebrows started to twitch. How dismissive they were about this. You two are dismissed. You, Naruto. We have some business, said Tsunade. As Naruto was standing there, as the two of them left, Tsunade was looking at the paperwork on the decks. A lot of unfinished paperwork. You mentioned some secret about avoiding paperwork, she asked. Indeed, there is a secret way, said Naruto. I'll tell you about it if you answer a question from me. Agreed, said Tsunade. He knew almost every big secret already. What could he possibly want to know? Shadow clones, said Naruto. Tsunade paused as she processed that piece of information. Right now you're wondering why your fame. Professor Sensei hadn't figured that out, right? Well, yeah, she said. She felt stupid. That had to be pointed out to her. Well, never mind the old senile man right now, said Naruto. What I want to know is that mark on your head. It's a seal. And I want to know what kind. It's my yin seal. I use it when I need an extra burst of chakra to heal myself if I get badly injured. It's a last resort though, seeing that it's piece of my aging every time I use it, Tsunade explained. But look on Naruto's face. It was like she said something stupid a minute ago. So, if I'm correct, you're using a burst of yin chakra to direct entry into your body to increase your speed regeneration technique, which causes rapid aging. Yes, said Tsunade. People are usually impressed by that, so why was he acting this way? Did it ever occur to you that rapid aging happened because yin chakra only provide the form of what you need to heal the injuries? Without a yang chakra to provide the component, it is sucking the life out of you. Wait, said Tsunade. You mean that it was possible to use this technique safely? I could have used it without getting older every time? Well, it will still leave you drained, but it wouldn't shorten your life, said Naruto. Tsunade couldn't believe it. Alright, she created that clone. As she looked towards the clone that got to work. We're going to be adding that young chakra component right now, brat, she said. If you're going to call me brat again, I'm going to call you Tits, said Naruto. Is that any way to talk to your Hokage, she asked. Oh, excuse me, Tits-sama. I wasn't where you want to be in charge this time. Shall I get the chains? Tsunade thought on an embarrassing blush. The way he chained her up in Kansakagai. She was not too well used to dealing with embarrassment, so she defaulted towards her perverted, twitch. The next moment, Naruto was through the wall. Time skip. Gate of pain. Open, said Naruto. As his body was vibrating with power, it felt like it was slipping. He was radiating so much power. He knew that with using it, the more he used it, he would grow better to control it, but never fully. The longer he kept it active, the more he felt his muscle tearing. With the amount of muscles that he had, he could keep it up longer than Lee, but there was no way of avoiding the muscle damage afterwards. The human body was never meant to operate at this level. Shutting the gates, Naruto sighed another failure. After Guy had taught him how to open the 5 gates, he thought that he could learn to control their power, but it was not to be. The gates were either open or closed. There was no middle ground of a burst of power that was able to control. Despite that, he was going to learn how to open the last 3 gates, even if Guy refused to teach him how. Now that he knew to open the first 5, he could learn the last 3 on his own eventually. Picking up a scroll, he focused on a different project. If Yin Chakra didn't work, perhaps he could use Yin Chakra. While helping Tsunade, he learned how to make the Yin Seal, which is now what he held in his hand. He had no idea what would happen once he flooded the Yin Chakra into his body, as his body was more accustomed to Yin Chakra. He created a clone to keep an eye on him though, as you must always have contingency plans when dealing with seals that you have no idea about. Placing Yin Seal on his chest, Naruto released it as a power flooded through him. He felt a change immediately. It felt like he could see inside his body. He could feel every inch of his body. He could see how his chakra flowed. He bent it and turned it. The chakra was responding to his will so easily. With this kind of control over his chakra, he could do anything. He could even... Suddenly, a fist slammed into his jaw that knocked him out of his trance. Gasping, Naruto glared towards the clone. What's the big idea, he said. You stop breathing, you imbecile, said the clone. Naruto looked stunned. Oh, so Yang Chakra is more even dangerous than Yang Chakra. There was a moment of disconnect between his body and his mind a minute ago, with so much Yang Chakra flowing through him. Perhaps if they were balanced, negative side effects would cancel out. He read another Yang Chakra scroll, as he prepared to absorb it. Gate of opening. Open, he said, as his body was flooded with Yang Chakra once again. Immediately, he felt more control. The furious Yang Chakra of the gates was balanced out by the Yang Chakra. As Naruto grinned, he started to rush around the training ground, marveling at the control that he had, just opening the first gate. If he could gather enough Yang Chakra to balance out the other 7 gates, he would be unstoppable. Before he could think anything else though, the muscle damage made itself known as he groaned and went down, sitting on his butt. Apparently, even though it focused the chakra, it didn't do anything about his damaged muscles. Clearly, this is another dead end. At least Kusanagi was going to be happy to create a workable seal together, Yang Chakra. She had been quite upset the last time he spoke to her, as he found out that she was upset because she was able to do little against Itachi Uchiha and Kisame. They had came to the village for him to capture him. He could understand because all of her hard work was made useless when a single glance of Itachi's Sharingan put it all to, well, nothing. Itachi even turned her own genjutsu against her. Well, he was kind of a boogeyman when it comes to genjutsu, but to defeat so easily in something you train your entire life for, it was annoying. But this new breakthrough that Naruto got would allow her to take her training to the next level. Time skip. Did you know that your pink hair teammate has been asking me for training as a medic? Tsunade asked as she took a drink from her state bottle, her feet resting on the coffee table she brought in here for this exact reason. Next to her with his feet resting on the coffee table, Naruto answered her. Someone must have clued her in on the fact that her high chakra control would be a good starting for medical ninjutsu. There was a clone of Tsunade grumbling as he did paperwork. This allowed the real Tsunade and Naruto to slack off. Not only that, the Tenten girl also came, wanting to learn medical ninjutsu, but she doesn't have the aptitude for it. Her chakra control is decent enough, but not good enough for medical training. But I'm gonna start teaching soccer, or at least have Shizune start her on it. Tsunade felt a bit bad about refusing Tenten, seeing that girl was a, well, serious kunoichi. But medical ninjutsu just didn't suit her. The girl had been disappointed hearing that, but pulled herself together quickly enough. Tenten is pretty decent with Fuinjutsu though. I was thinking about teaching her a thing or two, said Naruto. Fuinjutsu users are so rare. Naruto was surprised that she knew anything about the art. Speaking of Fuinjutsu, I got something I'm gonna need your help with. Oh? Said Tsunade. I'm trying to figure out Orochimaru's seal, and I need a skilled medic to help me. Tsunade raised eyebrow. Even Jerry hadn't managed to do that, but she had no idea why he wanted a medic to help him. Are you doing this because you want to find a way to remove from your teammate? She asked. Huh? Naruto said confused. Oh, he said. Remember that Sasuke had a seal as well. No, I'm doing this I need to find a way to remove from Uncle, he said. Of course. Why would you help your teammate if you can help a pretty woman? Said Tsunade. Exactly. Well, I guess I can remove from the princess once I learn how. Tsunade started to laugh, hearing the way he called the Uchiha. Having met the Uchiha, she could certainly understand why he called him a princess, with the way the boy pouted sometimes. It was more like a jealous scowl when he looked towards Naruto mostly. Their conversation ended when Shizune burst in, seeing Naruto and Tsunade leaning together on the couch, their feet up, drinking sake, while a pissed off clone was doing all the paperwork. What is it, Shizune? Asked Tsunade. It's time for the monthly council meeting to go over village finances. Tsunade was relaxed, hanging out with Naruto like a teenager. Tsunade groaned here and that as she hated council meetings. It was even worse than paperwork. Just send the clone to deal with it. That's what I'm gonna do, said Naruto. Since he had announced himself as the Uzumaki clan head, he had actually had to attend council meetings now. While his clones had to attend them, he was off doing more important things. That is an excellent suggestion, said Tsunade. I'll inform the council to gather in an hour, Shizune said. She has also started doing things with clones, tasks that she didn't have to do, so she didn't bat an eye at what they were doing. Aren't child clones just the most useless technique ever, said Naruto. Yes, they are. With all these genius ideas you have, maybe I should make you my advisor instead of those old guys. And miss out on all their nagging, Naruto said. How could you think that it was good to replace some power-hungry people that should have been stuffed in a retirement home a long time ago, said Naruto. You know, there's no need for your sarcasm. Everyone know you don't like them, said Tsunade, as she chuckled. I'm serious though, those 3 fossils have got too comfortable with the power being on the count to give them. Every time that people get too comfortable with the power they have over others, they start to abuse it. As the things that Hinata told about the Hyuga elders, that only confirmed everything further for him. Tsunade thought it over. The more she thought about it, the better it was sounding. Even if I'm Hokage, I'm not sure I have the power to just remove them though, she said. Tsunade, Konoha, is a military dictatorship. If you tell them to go down their knees and kiss your ass, your jaw better not get numb until you tell them to stop. As Tsunade spat out the state that she was drinking at the moment. You alright there, said Naruto with amusement. I think I've been spending too much time around you. Because I'm actually thinking about saying that. Just see look on their faces. Tsunade said that chuckle, wiping away a tear that leaked out. Because of her laughing with the blonde. Joke aside, they do actually have an important function in the workings of the village. But I'll keep the idea in mind if they ever start to become too troublesome. Since you're just a great medic, it would be pretty easy for you to do an artificial art attack, said Naruto. That way you can keep them from protesting. Tsunade grinned. That idea can help with taking care of Danzo. Time skip. Naruto, Tenten, Neji and Hinata were sitting in Naruto private training ground. Tenten because he asked her to. Neji and Hinata because they want to ask him about something. As Naruto was surprised by their addition, but nothing was really wrong. Him and Neji has sort of become friends since their fight as well. A good fight is a year worth of therapy for a man. Why do you ask me to come here, Naruto? Asked Tenten. After joining him on that mission and the battle with Orochimaru, she had really seen and respected his strength. Not to mention she was also jealous that he stole that legendary blade from Orochimaru. She would have given her left pinky toe for a weapon like that. Well, I heard from Tsunade that you asked her to train you, and she refused. Tenten nodded sadly, as she still felt disappointed. Tsunade wasn't mean about it, she just explained that her chakra control wasn't good enough. It was still a huge letdown. Especially to be turned down by her idol when someone like Sakura got accepted. She didn't really dislike the pinky girl, but she was clearly playing catch up because she, well, slack off at the academy. When you were holding off Kabuto, I thought you were pretty good in seals. So I'm offering to train you in Funjutsu. Tenten head snapped towards him. I would love that, she said. Funjutsu had intrigued her ever since the academy. And to learn more was an opportunity she could not pass up, as she knew that the blonde was far more efficient in the art than her. Hinata and Neji were surprised by that. They never thought he would offer that. Alright then, we'll work out a schedule for you tomorrow. Meet me here at 7 in the morning. You got it, Naruto-sensei, she said that giggle, as she rushed off in her excitement. Naruto raised an eyebrow at being called sensei, as he shrugged it off with a smile. Now, what did you two want, he says. He turned towards two Hyugas. Big brother Naruto, we have a request for you, Hinata said, as she was trying to hide how nervous she was. Naruto raised an eyebrow, before making a hand motion for her to go on. Hinata fidgeted, so Neji went on. We wanted to ask your help in a Funjutsu problem, Naruto-san. First of all, don't call me Naruto-san. I don't really like honorifics, said Naruto. Secondly, I'm guessing that this is about the mark on your forehead. The two of them were surprised that he figured it already, but not too surprised. What other Funjutsu problem they could have anyway? Yes, Hinata-sama, and he turned, stopping his talking as Hinata was glaring at him, which most people didn't even thought that she was capable of. As he fixed his statement, Hinata-chan and I have talked it over to ask if you can remove it. Hinata was insisting that he didn't call her Hinata-sama out of the Hyuga compound unless it was absolutely necessary. She didn't want it to be seen like she was his superior outside the compound. She knew if he didn't do it around the council members, he would be reprimanded for it. So that is why he had to do it here. But out here, they are not master and servant, as she wanted him to see her as her cousin, and not as a master. Well, I've already been examining it ever since our fight in the final, said Naruto. Really? Hinata said, as she was hoping that he already knew how to remove it. Yeah, I copied it from Ninja forehead during our fight. Unfortunately though, I made no headway. You mean it's too hard for you to remove? Hinata said sadly. No, that's not the problem, Naruto said. The problem is the cage bird seal in its finished form. Doesn't give me much to work with. What would you need then? Asked Ninja confused. I will need to learn how to apply it myself before I can learn how to remove it. What I need are the notes for the creation of the seal. If I have that, I'm sure I can figure out a way to remove it. Without knowing, I would need to experiment, and that will lead to a lot of dead Hyuga before I know how to do it. So yeah, we don't want to go down that path. Their face went grim. Unlike Orochimaru crab seal, the cage bird seal, well, it was more deadly. It was the work of a SealMaster who put a lot of time and hard work into it. Hinata and Neji looked at each other and nodded. They were sure that Naruto was not the person to create branded slaves. He was interested in his own strength, and the woman. Yes, can't forget the woman's. Yes, brother and I would do our best to find notes for you, Hinata said. Brother, said Naruto. So does that mean that Neji's gonna call me big brother too? He asked. Neji looked towards Naruto with a horrified look on his face. Absolutely not. Oh come on, I'll be a proper big brother, Neji. As he grabbed the Hyuga in a headlock. I'll even take you to a brothel for your 16th birthday. Neji choking surprised Hinata started to blush. No thanks, he refused. You sure? I know this one girl that can show you a whole nother meaning of cage bird. I don't even want to know what you're talking about, said Neji. Naruto released a sigh and let him go. You need to start thinking about girls more, Neji. With all that pretty hair of yours, people start thinking that you're gay if you don't show interest in the female population. I like girls just fine, thank you, said Neji. There was a moment of silence. Are you sure you don't want me to take you to a brothel, Naruto asked? No. I mean, yeah, As Naruto burst out laughing. Time skip. So tell me why can you need a medic for this? Because this looked like a full-inducer problem to me, said Tsunade, as she looked at Anko exposed shoulder, as Anko, Kusanagi, and Naruto and Tsunade were there, in their apartment. Because I've already gone over the seal itself, and there should be no way it should be capable of the things it does. It's just a bunch of stored seals connected to a main array, and designed to give the user the chakra. Once certain degrees are met, said Naruto. Explain to me then, because I have no idea how I can help you, said Tsunade. Fine, see here, said Naruto, as he pointed at a particular spot on the seal. That stored seal contains something highly chakra reactive, but not raw chakra. It's also triggered by powerful negative emotions. Once that happens, this next seal is triggered, as he pointed another seal further in the array. This one's contain Orochimaru chakra, to how corrupted it feels. And this seal right here, Naruto says, he pointed to the other one. It holds a lot of something unknown, but it's inactive right now. I guess that Orochimaru has to do something to activate this part, and it must give a big power boost. Unfortunately, because it's driven by negative emotions, it eats away the sanity of the person that uses it. What I need from you, Tsunade, is help me identify what that unknown crap is. The only thing I know about it is that Orochimaru injected with a bite. It reacts to powerful emotions like rage and negativity. Either way, I haven't found a safe way to remove it because Orochimaru chakra react really wild whenever someone misses the mark. Alright, I'll see if I can find a way to figure out what that stuff is. Tsunade agreed. This was going to be a challenge, but finding a way to remove Orochimaru Hikis was going to be a good thing. There's also one more thing Naruto says he hesitated a bit. That caught their attention because Naruto was never, well, someone who hesitates. What is it? Anko asks, as she starts to get a bit nervous. Orochimaru chakra is acting too intelligent just to be chakra alone. It can sense what the cursed seal bearers are feeling. I think that the crazy asshole managed somehow to cut off a piece of his soul and place it in each of the seals. All three of them look at him wide-eyed, before Anko started to claw on the seal. Get this god thing off me! I don't care what it takes, but just get off, she said, as she couldn't believe she was carrying around a piece of her traitor sensei soul. We will, Anko, don't worry, said Naruto, as Kusanagi rubbed her back soothingly and tried to calm her down. At the very least, it's not fully extinction, it's more like a basic awareness. Anko was just hoping that Tsunade and Naruto could find a way to remove the mark. Time skip. A month later, Naruto was feeling nervous. It was time for the date with Zana. Despite sleeping together multiple times now, they never actually went on a real date before. This was their first one. As he wanted things to go right, it was important to him, despite the fact that he needed a break from working on Orochimaru seal. At the moment, he was badly stressed out. He made his way outside his apartment, where he would wait for his date to show up. He was wearing the clothing that he had commissioned over a month ago. Black pants with a simple hairori to cover his chest. It was mostly clothed, so he was covered more than usual because he always wear that jacket with his chest on full display. As there was a nine-tailed fox on his back as well, tails spread wide. He wasn't wearing his combat boots, and he was wearing sandals for a change. When he had asked for this to be made, he had done it for several reasons, mostly because he wanted to show his affection towards Zana openly. Another, to show that he was proud to be associating with her. His ponytail was around him, hanging down his chest, so it wouldn't hide the image. Lately though, the villagers started to call him Honorable Son of the Fort, and that started to annoy him. These were the same assholes that would have come to cheer if he was getting killed not 2 months ago, and now they were kissing his ass like their life depended on it. He was fine if they hated him. He'd have been more than happy to return the favor if they tried anything. But this hypocrisy pissed them off. Maybe seeing the giant Kyuubi in his back would make them realize that they have hated him for 17 years now, and they can go and screw themselves. His thoughts were interrupted though as Zana made her way outside, and he couldn't help but stare. Before, she always wears something a shade of red, clearly her favorite color, but she went to something a bit more different for their date. A white silk kimono that was tied to a red OB. The red highlight matched her hair. Unlike a normal white kimono, this one was shortened and exposed a great line of her cleavage. She was wearing very thin sandals, which Naruto knew was probably irritating her, as she didn't like to wear footwear. And the fact that she was not wearing a bra either, and Naruto could guess that she wasn't wearing anything underneath that either. He had no idea where she got the clothes, but he very much approved. You look radiant, Naruto said, She did, in the low light of the evening, dressed in white. Well, you aren't looking bad yourself, she said, as she looked at the representation of herself on his back. It was very well done and she could appreciate the irony of it. And the feeling that she was more important than the village to him brought a warm feeling to her heart. Naruto frowned a bit. There was something off about her voice. Yes, she said, having a good idea what was confusing him. Your voice, he said, as he was not sure how to say what it was. I'm suppressing chakra flow to my voice box. Otherwise, any other human might act like some drooling idiot, she said. Oh, said Naruto. Why am I not affected, he asked. Because you've been hearing for your entire life, not to mention the strength of your own chakra counter defects. I see. Then, my lady, as he extended his arm, as she took it, they walked through the village arm in arm. Sleeping with Xana was amazing, but he wanted her heart as well. Both of them were quite amused at the looks they were getting from people around them. Some people looked like they were about to shout greetings to the Honorable Son of the Fort, but they got image of the fox on his back, and their face immediately sour. Xana herself was attracting a great deal of male population, as they had no idea why with a beauty like that be with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Many of them came to the conclusion she was with him because he was a son of the fort and a clan head, because they'd never seen this beauty before. Her dress and the fact that she wasn't wearing any bra made them think that she was some sort of gold digger because of his clan status and the fortune that will come with it. Soon they made to their destination, which was a very pricey restaurant. Naruto knew that Xana didn't technically need to eat, but she enjoyed it. As soon as they entered, staring from the staff and the guests, they paid no mind as they went towards an empty table. The fact that it was a reservation type of restaurant, and they were supposed to wait until someone showed them to their table, as there was grumbling from the other guests, talking about disrespectful and other words. The owner made his way with every intention of telling them to leave. Usually, he would have loved to have the son of the fort as a guest, but the way they were dressed, not to mention, he just came in and took a seat without even making a reservation. That was disrespectful to other customers. I'm afraid I'm going to ask you on your day to leave, Uzumaki-sama, he said, trying to keep his anger and resentment when he spoke. It made him very pissed off that he had to be polite to someone who mockingly walked around in that clothing, as the fox was on the back of it. That beast had ravaged through their village and killed so many people. Xana turned towards him. The man froze in fear when he saw eyes. He remembered them, but they were much bigger back then. I don't think you want to do that, said Naruto. Why wouldn't I want to do that? You're upsetting the rest of my guests. Due to the fact that he was shaking when he looked into Xana's eyes, a slight sneer escaped his control. Because if you do, your wife might come into some photographs of you and that very cute waitress over there in some compromising positions, said Naruto, as he pulled out a single photo and placed on the table to prove that he indeed had them. The man paled and took a step back as Xana grinned. His wife would divorce him and take everything he owned while she was at it. What do you want? The man said, his tone quickly changing. He would just have to hope that Kyuubi Jinchuriki won't make the habit of blackmailing him with those photos. You're going to serve us and you're going to like it. Also, for insulting my date with your presence, you're going to make it free for a token of your apology. The man nodded and scampered off as he was fearing of losing everything in making it belong get angry. What an easy way to handle that worms and a laugh. Personally, I would have scared him into submission. Sometimes it's more fun being subtle, said Naruto with a grin. As Xana kicked off her footwear, and the both of them started to play footsie under the table. The people saw as they were appalled by the disrespectful behavior as the waitress came over and the both of them stopped to make their order. The owner took notice of this himself, but he didn't do anything at all, as he was still worrying about his wife finding out about those photos. The both of them spent 2 hours in the restaurant, slowly driving the owner insane, seeing that the other guests started to leave because of their antics. When they finally left, the man released a giant sigh, hoping that they never come back. Well, that was amusing, Zan said with a grin. Messing with mortals were more fun when you have someone to share the experience with. Perhaps you should go back and do it again sometime. As Naruto smiled as she had enjoyed herself and wanted to do it again. Oh, I don't think we'll be able to come back here. At least not anytime soon, said Naruto. Why is that, she asked. Because I told him that he would serve us and like it. And I'm pretty sure I saw him not liking it several times. So I'm gonna be sending those photos to his wife. Xana smiled at that, as it broke out in a soft chuckle that sounded so beautiful. That is absolutely vicious. Well, you did warn him, so he only have himself to blame. As a demon, Xana didn't believe in forgive and forget. So Naruto being vicious towards someone that wronged him for the slightest, it was amazing. It had become easy for him to, well, play on her feelings and inspire lust into her, like he was used to it, and he wasn't even doing it on purpose. Never before had anyone, human or demon, drawn her like this. She found herself wanting him more and more, as she couldn't even spend a few minutes away from him. Every night she was in his arms. She allowed him to lead her somewhere else, curious to see what he had planned. A group of men, probably in their mid-20s, seemed to be arguing about something a distance away. Naruto paid them no mind. Xana heard them though. They were discussing the possibility to come over here and tried to convince her to come with them. She was disappointed when they decided not to because of Naruto's size and reputation. The resulting beating would have been amusing, as Naruto led her towards a river that went towards his private training ground. More upstream, he spent quite a while preparing the place and he hoped she would like it. "What is this?" she said curiously, allowing her voice to revert to the natural state now. They were away from the village, as steam was coming from the river. That really shouldn't be happening. Naruto smiled, hearing her voice back normal. He definitely liked it better this way. "This, my dear, is a private hot spring I made for us." He smiled towards her. "I thought we could go for a soak," he said. But guys, we end this episode right here. If you want the next part, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share this with all of your friends and social media platform. But I'm all for now. See you guys soon. Peace.